Greetings, fellow appsters, and welcome, replay viewers. How is everyone out there tonight, this afternoon, whatever time it is, wherever you are? Hope everyone's doing well. Give me a second here while I just get a couple things figured out here. Comments. I see Knowledge was on. Hello from Lynchburg City. It seems every time we post that we're going to be going on air, he immediately gets on and gives us a wave. So that's awesome. So,
Oh,
hey,
he
you.
still says it better than me. I gotta go because they're closing at 4.
Oh yeah.
If you're gonna work on the 3D printer so that we can have proper ears for K9 tonight,
Yes.
where's the SD card?
That's a good question. Where's the card reader?
That's a good question.
Is the card reader in the computer bag, the gray laptop one? Which I'm assuming is
You only have an hour and a half for everything.
I only have an hour and a half.
You only have an hour and a half.
I only have an hour and a half. Okay. Hey, who we got here? Martin's home. Martin's doing some work here.
Martin's now, this is his workspace.
This is workspace now.
Home is, what do we call it? An institution. Do I buy you one of these shirts that make you hug yourself?
The jackets with the sleeves that tie in the back?
Yeah.
I love those. They're so cozy. I can hug myself all night long. Hey, Kirk, wow.
I don't know if he's saying it with experience or not. But,
yeah, no, that's not gotten that far.
They are going to help him find a home.
Yeah.
So that he can learn how to be an adult at 54.
Yeah.
Hey, one more year you get discounts. You're starting your life in time to get senior discounts.
God. Hello, Peter. Hey, how are you?
So, I recommend you not abandon them.
Okay.
And if you're still going to make K9's ears, you need to find those parts, and I need to go get materials and etc. So what that means, my dear man,
yes,
is you may want to start your phone as a second camera. So, and get your ear thingy. Well,
actually, you can say that's your phone. Yeah. At that point,
why don't you start your phone as a second camera?
Here.
And go find the reader.
Go find the reader in the card.
How many? Eight moves in 2 years?
Oh 2.5 years, yeah. But yeah.
You and I keep putting things in different places.
Well, Christina, good to see you here. Hope you both are well. We're doing good. I thought Christina was staying on a facility last time I was on.
It's his turn.
It's my turn. Yeah.
We got to a point
and
where
hey, Pablo.
They wouldn't. Hi, Pablo. They wouldn't let me broadcast from there. So Martin is now.
We're trading places. I'm not the same place that she was. But yeah.
My program on a mental health level wasn't doing anything for me, but Martin's got a completely different program.
Yes,
and the only way we can keep having Pablo, yes. Oh my God, I got seconds. I got to go get materials for wings and stuff. So you got Pablo here for a little while, aren't you special?
Awesome. Yeah, Peter and Pablo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Peter.
Well,
earlier. Yeah.
See glasses on these faces?
On these faces? How many faces do you have?
Don't ask. It's dangerous to ask that question.
How many of you are in there?
I have no idea. So we're moving the Remember Me thing to November 1st, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So that we can actually dedicate ourselves to Fan Expo, and you're not going to be there for all of Fan Expo.
No, we'll only be a little short increments.
So we also have to find me some helpers. And yeah, you got to get some work done, buddy. And you're on air for only an hour and a half.
Yeah. So I got to get some work
But we're going to come back on. We're going to be together to do K9 tonight.
Yeah.
Because he has to be done, and now
he has to be ready for the con too.
Yeah. And then someone's going back to his program. They gave him a little bit and everything. But you see, he's in a better position to even be like he can do nighttime walk arounds because the area he's in is much more interesting, as you guys saw the other night. And I can't. They wouldn't let me do broadcasts from my room or anything anymore. So yeah, he negotiated.
Yes, it is.
Is the best way. I said we.
Oh,
it's nice that you did the negotiation all on your own.
I negotiated with them.
How do you negotiate all on your own?
You and me are in here.
That's true.
That's what we're trying to work on.
So he has two choices basically right now. He makes these ears. This ear matches this ear.
Yeah, because this is the one that you really liked. That's the one that she really liked, and everyone else liked that on air as well.
And because
Not
I mean,
exactly
because I'm
the
not
same.
as technically minded, it's actually easier for him to repeat my organic work than it is for me to try to organically get them the same.
Mhm.
Or
And or
because you can always leave them to print later on after you're off air, and then you are running up to do your errands.
Yep.
We need 2 cars.
we need 2 cars again.
We need 2 cars.
Somebody get us a second car.
But I would love to have a 3D print of his ears. So
Martin, I support wishing the very best in his recovery. Thank you.
good seeing you. Oh, it was Pablo that said
Yeah,
good
thank
seeing
you,
you. Yay! Yay! And Peter too. Both of you guys, and I will warn everyone,
mine,
we're
right?
supposed to be. Is it
Yeah.
okay? Fine.
Don't
mine's in my back
because I'm going to
pocket.
use that as a camera, right?
We're supposed to limit screen time. So
Mhm.
if people want to call us, because we can always put a Facebook phone call down and just listen to you.
Yeah.
But calling and verbal communication is much more preferred right now. Over. So those of you who have not had emails responded to or anything like that, it's because we're attempting to take the doctor's advice.
Mhm.
Tempting's the key word.
Tempting. Yeah.
I gotta go.
Okay.
But don't leave them abandoned.
Okay.
Hold on, the mic's on this side, right? Oh, you don't have it attached. Damn it!
Nope.
You think it's funny?
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Give Martin all my support. Wishing you the very best.
Awesome,
Hey, what
thank
about me?
Yeah, she needs that support too, right?
She seems very controlling. Am I controlling?
No, you're not controlling.
Am I controlling? Am I dominating?
Oh, hold on. We're out of frame now, aren't we?
Let's show our middle-aged.
Oh, yeah.
Nope. I just like people who actually keep their promises.
We are
and
partners in business as much as anything
we have
else.
been
And we
listening
got
to the audience tell us who we are for years, and it hasn't worked. So, yeah. And 34
right.
years together, you think you would know if I'm controlling by now?
and sometimes we take turns. And one of us has all the good plans, good ideas, and sometimes the other one does.
You really have to learn to specify things. You just said basically before you added on to it that we take turns being controlling.
Oh yeah, I can see how that works.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is not where I was leaving at all.
I've just lived more of a life.
That's true.
We actually had an audience. This is the last thing I'm going to say, I swear. We actually had an audience member leave us in a fit because he could not face the fact that there are traits of Martin that are much more feminine than me, like my traits.
Yeah, totally.
And he finds it very therapeutic. And this male viewer was very upset by that and threw a big fit. And I had to delete most of the comments because he slipped into words that people shouldn't use here. Yeah, I found it both concerning because people shouldn't get upset over other people's lifestyle. And at the same time, I found it very laughable, I guess is the word for it. So
pitiable, perhaps?
Oh, I don't have time for pity. No.
Yeah.
But that's part of the reason why he's starting to find a way to live in a separate place so that I'll actually start doing dishes and cleaning my own bathroom and he'll have
all the things that I took away from you when we moved in together.
It hasn't done me any good. I was flattered at first, but ladies, when you let things like this go on too long where he's doing everything for you, don't let him. Mm-hmm. And I'm not being mean, right?
No, not at all.
You're going to grow up, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
Bye.
All right, folks. I'm going to get this. It's not even about the cleaning. There's the feminine trait. It's a lot of the attitude and that sort of thing as well. So I'm going to get this my phone set up as a separate camera. Come on, ears. Make sure I get the correct one. Okay. Next. All right. So what I'm going to do is, let's see here. Going to do that as number one. And add that one. There you go. Shot on my chin. All right, folks. So what I'm going to do right now is find the card reader so that I can actually send some files to the 3D printers because the laptop doesn't have a card reader of its own. All right. So let me see what I can do here. I think it's in the computer bag, which is up front. Didn't want to leave an empty screen or an empty frame, so here we go. Yeah, one of the joys of having moved 8 times in the past 2.5 years is every place that we move into, it's like a new adventure in, what do we put where and how do we organize it, and then we're remembering things from before. Right. 4:30. 4:30. Hour and a half.
I'd say 5 because 4:30.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Very true. Hmm. Makes sense. Well, I take off with a car. God, we do need 2 cars. It was so great when we had 2 cars back in the day. There is the computer bag. Found the computer bag. And there's no card reader in the computer bag. Oh, uh-huh.
Remind me later if I can find it again. There's this great TikTok about not being affected by other people.
Oh,
and
yeah.
just being yourself and being proud of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not damaging anyone else, they have no right.
Well, exactly, yeah.
And it's the way she did it. It's just so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So if I find it again, I'll send it to you.
Oh, I'd love to
I
see that.
think
Yeah.
you'll enjoy it. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay. So there's no card reader in that bag. Interesting. Where the heck is it? All right, we're gonna find it. We're going to find it. So we can't put a file on an SD card without a card reader. It's usually sitting on the desk.
Oh, it's usually plugged into one of these.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one. That one. That one. Did you check?
Yeah, there's nothing there. Okay, where did our card reader disappear to?
It can't be more than 3 hour print, can it?
Probably not.
You could sit down, work on yours,
That's true, yeah.
set a timer, and because I would love to see
Okay.
those folded.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do some cleanup on the ears and work on it that way. Sounds like a plan. Man.
Out here
All right.
again.
All right. So not knowing where those
card reader went.
the card reader went.
We'll work on.
Oh, oops. Hang on a sec.
There we go. We'll work on these ears cleaned up. So as we mentioned earlier, this is the one that she liked and everyone else liked for the shape and basically just all the sort of aesthetic qualities of it. And that's her her left ear. So then the right ear doesn't quite match, so she's not happy with that. So I'm going to see if I can do a little bit of plasticine and a little bit of sculpting and try and match this one as much as possible. This one's not going to get changed, so we will work on that. Oh yeah, I can see the slight variation there. So, sculpting tools. We finally got all of our bins and stuff labeled, which is awesome. Oh, actually, sculpting tools and plasticine. This is from when she was working with me, so that's exactly what we need right there. Okay. So how's everyone up there tonight? This afternoon? I keep thinking it's tonight because we're used to doing broadcasts at like 7:30 in the evening. We're going to do another one at 8 o'clock tonight, working on K9. So once Christine is back from her errands, I've got to run out to our secondary location to pick up the dog and paint some materials that are there and bring them back here so that we can get that get him up and running. Because we've got Fan Expo coming up in just a little over a week and a half. The 22nd to 24th, we are doing 2 panels at the convention. One of them is called Wings and Things, so we'll be presenting our fairy wings, the Maleficent wings, all that sort of stuff, talking about the creation of them, the mechanics involved, the techniques and materials that we used, and the different kinds of wings that we've been doing, because we've got the Maleficent wings, the big feathered ones with the mechanical armature to extend them out to like 12 or 13 feet across, and then we've got the fairy wings, which are more sort of the stereotypical fairies, the butterfly kind of wings, right, with mechanisms for flapping. We've got fiber optics in some of them, and so lots of stuff to talk about there. That'll be on the Friday afternoon at Fan Expo here in Toronto. And then on the Saturday, on the 23rd, we're doing Production to Cosplay, which is, it's going to include a little bit of talk about the wings, but mostly about how people can look at a prop on a show or on a movie and realize that that prop probably costs thousands and thousands of dollars to build, but how you can do it for like $1.50 or something like that, or a couple $100 at most in your own home with your own materials. So talking about what materials we use when we build, because we do both ends of the scale, right? We've worked on big productions where you spend $250,000 on something like the Atom suit, or and then we've worked on little sideline projects, our own cosplay, where we're using cardboard or paper mache or something like that to build a shape instead of vacuform plastics or something along those lines. So there's lots of variations. So what I'm seeing first off is the right ear is about 1/4 of an inch shorter than the left ear. So I'm going to try and pull that tip up just a little. And pull the tip up. I know. As we said before, we're not that kind of broadcast. That's a little bit closer. Trying not to distort the shape too much either when I draw it upwards a bit. Because she likes the way the front of this ear looks, but so can't really change it too much here. So the idea behind these is we took a mold of Christina's ears, the alginate mold like we do with kind of prosthetic work, and then we we did a resin cast duplicate of her actual ears, and then she sculpted on top of that resin cast with plasticine. And once this has all been cleaned up and the sculpt looks looks like what we want it to, then it'll be a matter of making a mold of this guy, these two. It'll be a 2-part mold that can be disassembled and everything, and we're going to cast them in a prosthetic grade silicone in order to use them as her fairy and elf ears, because she's got the Lord of the Rings elf, the elven archer, whereas Pierre has pointy ears, of course, and most of the fairy characters, Maleficent, Queen Maeve, even the monarch fairy, they all have pointed ears as well. So it's be able to use these pointed ears for a number of different characters. So I'm seeing that one section there needs to be elongated a little. The trick is not to get too much bulk on the ears, because you don't want the prosthetics to be too thick and cumbersome either. The great thing about the silicones is they're really a natural kind of look to them, and they're non-allergenic as opposed to the using the latex to make prosthetics. A lot of people are using latex for prosthetics, but when when people have latex allergies, it makes it a little more difficult. So we want to be able to if we do prosthetics for other people as well, we'll have the options with the silicones. And the silicones that we use, like a lot of the products that we use, come from a company called Smooth-On. Oh, that was another thing. We keep forgetting to tag Smooth-On. So hashtag smooth-on. Or I guess I can't put the dash in, or it just says hashtag smooth. But Smooth-On is a manufacturer out of, I believe they're out of the UK originally, but they have tons of distributors throughout North America, Canada, and the US, where they they supply molding and casting materials, both for film and television industry and for they've really gotten into the cosplay market as well. So the hobbyists and that sort of thing, and doing just huge leaps and bounds in the kind of materials that are available. Hang on a second. Give me 1 sec here. Just going to make one quick phone call here. And it is this one. Art Lover Super Heart Award. Thank you. Yes, good afternoon. It's Martin from Car Hunger Creative. I talked to somebody there earlier about my partner coming down there to take a look at some polycarbonate and possibly some PETG film. She's going to be there around 4 o'clock. You guys are still in there at that point, right? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Great, thanks. Okay, bye. All right, done. Thank you so much, Art Lover. Let me finish that one because I've got the phone call. Super. Okay. All good. Christina's the expert in all the sculpting stuff, but let's see what I can do here to try and match her look. So, Art Lover, how are you doing today? Looking a little better. Still needs to be a little bit taller, though. Stretch this ear a little and not damage it. Yeah, that's a little bit better. I'm awesome. How are you? Doing pretty good. So we're still working on our personal growth and our mental health, but things are coming together now for us. Christina's out right now picking up some materials, and she's going to be out for a couple of hours, but once she's back, then I've got to run down to our secondary location to pick up K9 so that we can work on K9 on the broadcast this evening. We'll be going back on at 8 p.m. Eastern and do some repair work on him because he's going to be presented at Fan Expo in a couple of weeks as well. So, and because of personal and professional commitments, I myself won't be able to be at Fan Expo for extended periods of time. So I'm coming in basically for the afternoon, evenings to do the panels with Christina, and she's looking for whatever helpers she can get in order to spend the day, the full days of the con. So our panels are on the Friday and the Saturday, and then the con goes on the Sunday as well. It's the first live Fan Expo since the lockdowns have happened. So it's going to be interesting to see how things work out with that. Trying to also make sure that the thicknesses are matched. Again, we don't want it to be too thick, but at the same time, we don't want it to be too thin either. Try and blend some of this extra plasticine in around the back to make a to make a disaster out of it. She didn't hear that, right? Grab a different sculpting tool. These guys are actually pretty nice. These are a nice sculpting tool because they've got a bit of a rubberized tip, so they're a little bit flexible at one end, and the other end's like a little tiny ball for getting in and creating grooves and stuff like that. So these flexible ones are good for blending. So we'll just start blending the excess plasticine. So a little bit of a divot there that I should fill, or should I? Just comparing the thicknesses. Yeah, no, maybe it's okay. I'll just sort of blend it, spread that out a little bit, reduce the divot. So yeah, we'll be making a like a two-part mold of these that can be disassembled, and then once the mold is done and gets opened up again, we clean the plasticine off of these, because these then become part of the mold when the parts are being cast. So that what happens is the only piece that actually gets cast in silicone is the additional plasticine. So that the inside of the plasticine ends up matching the shape of her ear and can much more easily be adhered to the surface of the ear. Adhered to the ear. Get that nice little sort of reverse, like S curve almost in the tip of the ear. Yeah. Tweak it this way a little bit. And it's got to be a nice smooth curvature, right? Now, since there's no real symmetry in nature, we don't have to make these ears exactly alike. But it'd be nice if she doesn't have one big ear and one little ear. I'm just trying to get the sort of depth of the grooves and stuff in the ear to look the same. Use the blending tool again to get rid of some of the creases. Decrease the grease. Sounds like I've got a cat complaining in the other room. It was very interesting when Christina came back with the cats, and we've adopted out the one cat because she just wasn't doing too well. She didn't respond well to house sitters. They wouldn't come out to eat if somebody was here to take care of the place for us if we're away for a few days. So we ended up we adopted her out to a pretty good guy. He's a professional, and he's very very cat friendly. So she's got a really good home. But yeah, that happened while the boys were with Christina at the location she was staying at. So when we brought them back for the first night, Pippin was wandering around the house, meowing and meowing and meowing. And, it's basically, we can only assume, looking for his sister, because the two of them pretty much grew up together. She was, we got her about a year and a half after we got him, a little over a year after we got him. So they've been a bonded pair. He was about maybe almost 2 years old when we got her, and she was just a kitten. So they pretty much grew up together. So I'm happy that she's got a nice new comfortable home, and he works from home, so he doesn't actually travel a lot. When he does travel, it's only for a couple of days. He actually bought her an automated feeder, so that only dishes out, dispenses as much as a serving at a time, to get her used to actual, timed feedings, which is awesome. It's her being an only cat now. I'm sure she's quite content with that. I think that's looking a little better. It's looking a lot closer. So who else is out there this afternoon? Give a shout out. Say hi. I know like 3 in the afternoon is actually a bit of an odd time to go to air, but it is what it is. We're trying to get ourselves on air a little bit more often right now too, to help try to promote things like the story time that we're doing this month for October. We're doing the to commemorate the Mexican Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. We're doing a Remember Me broadcast. We were originally going to do it on the 24th, but we weren't sure how that was going to conflict with our schedule at Fan Expo. So we're rescheduling the Remember Me broadcast for November 1st, which is actually the Day of the Dead. So it's appropriate. So Monday, November 1st, we'll be doing the broadcast. So what happens is, for anyone new out there, anyone who contributes a minimum of $5 in awards. Normally we do sponsorships and awards, but this month we're just doing the awards thing. And anyone who contributes minimum $5 in awards is eligible to submit a name of somebody in their life that's passed, somebody dear to them, whether a friend or a family member, teacher, a mentor, a pet, even somebody that you admired from, a celebrity or a political figure or whatever, and give us a little bit of an anecdote about what this person means to you. So for every $5, you can submit one name. So we've got a couple of people who have contributed $10 to $15 in awards, and they can submit 2 to 3 names. And we'll read out the name on air during the Remember Me broadcast and tell the little anecdote about what that person means to you. Or we've had a suggestion we can invite people to be guests on our broadcast and read and talk about their loved one themselves. Proceeds from the awards are going to go to the World Wildlife Federation, or World Wildlife Fund, the Monarch Fund. Basically, what World Wildlife Fund does is they have virtual adoption programs for a lot of the endangered animals. The monarch butterfly is endangered because a lot of its habitats have been bulldozed and clear cut, so they don't have a lot of places where they can actually nest and breed and eat and that sort of thing. There's a lot of effort being done right now to try to provide alternate habitats for them, but the reason it connects with Day of the Dead is that it's a Mexican belief that the monarch butterflies, because what happens is they migrate from Canada, like Ontario and Quebec and the eastern US, every fall, right around this time of year. They migrate all the way down to Mexico by millions, and they roost there and they nest there over the winter, and then they have another generation of monarchs that in the spring will fly all the way back up to the habitats up here and restart the sort of breeding cycle and have 3 or 4 generations of monarchs over the course of the spring and summer, and it repeats all over again. But a lot of the habitats down in Mexico have been clear cut. So, but Mexicans always believed that the monarch butterflies, when they arrive, which tends to be around the Day of the Dead, when they arrive, they carry the souls of the departed to come back and visit. And this is where the remember me thing comes, is that as long as you remember those who have passed, their souls will live on forever. As soon as those people are forgotten in life, their souls evaporate and are lost forever. So by doing the Remember Me broadcasts and reading out the people's names and talking about them, we're helping to perpetuate their memory and helping to keep their souls flourishing, as per Mexican tradition. But the proceeds will go to the World Wildlife Fund to do a virtual adoption of the monarch. Every $60, it's $60 to adopt, and you get a little incentive package back with fact sheets about monarchs and little cards and little basically a little swag bag. And so for every $60, we're hoping right now we're just under $100. Pardon my throat. We're just under $100, and we're hoping that by this Friday, which is the 15th, is the deadline for submitting your names and giving us the awards. We're hoping that by this Friday we reach 120, and we can actually do 2 virtual donations. So definitely looking forward to that. All right, how's that looking? It's looking a lot closer. I think actually we're really super close to looking the same. Thickness wise, pretty good. This one's a little thinner at the tip than the other one, so a little bit more plasticine and try and thicken the tip a little. Yeah, like I mentioned, don't want to get too thick. But the one that's on the table right now, the left ear, is the one that was approved by everyone. Everyone seemed to like it, and Christina liked it. She liked how it worked out for her. So that's the one we're going for. So I'm not changing that one at all. And can blend this second one to match. Again, use our little blending tool, our soft blending tool, just to help get the plasticine sort of smoothed out a little bit, getting the little creases, finger marks, and stuff out of it. And one of the things that we do once we got the actual shape of the sculpt looking like how we want it, we take a little bit of cheesecloth, a little bit of cotton fabric, and we pat down the surface of it in order to give it a bit more of a texture, so it's not so smooth. It's not quite skin texture, but it's a good good approximation of the skin texture. It works quite well. There we go. Let's add a little bit more thickness into the back of the ear here. Sort of blend this again. Sometimes finger blending works quite well too. Yeah, that's looking a lot better. Because then you start getting like little creases and stuff from holding onto it. Little raised edges that need to be smoothed out a little more. Here's the back of this ear. Just got pretty clean on the back. So clean this area up a little bit. That's like it. Smoothing. So the next step is going to be to set this up to make a mold. doing the final product out of the silicone means we can't make the mold out of the silicone because they'll actually bond to each other. We've tried that in the past using mold release and stuff like that to try to do an actual release of silicone against silicone. And, haven't had a lot of luck, but we do have some soft urethanes that we can use that should be flexible enough to still be able to pry off of the shapes here. You've got a lot of undercuts and everything. You know, yours are a very complicated shape, so to be able to separate those, having a flexible material, so flexible urethane to make the mold, and then that will work against the silicone because the urethane and the silicone won't stick to each other when the silicone cures. So there we go. See if I can show these. Excellent. Huh? I think that looks a lot better now. A lot more like the other one. I think she will be quite happy with that. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just briefly come over here and I'm going to give you guys a, where's the pointer? Looking for the pointer. Oh, pointer's on screen one. Where am I going? There we go. Okay. Joys of double monitors here. I am going to just briefly play a video for you guys and disappear for a moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute my mic and I'm going to start this video. And this is for the Remember Me.
Remember me, though I have to say goodbye. Remember me, don't let it make you cry. For even if I'm far away, I'll hold you in my heart. I sing a secret song to you each night we are apart. Remember me, though I have to travel far. Remember me, each time you hear a sad guitar. Know that I'm with you the only way that I can be.
And back on air, back online. All right, folks. How's everyone out there? So now that we got these shaped the way we like them, see a couple of little creases here. Just want to smooth that out a little. Just like the ears look a little bit more natural. Kind of like when you get little fingernail marks, or these have been sitting around in a box for a little bit, so get a little bit flattened in a couple of spots from the box. Okay, that's pretty good. So who else do we have out there today? Now, I'm thinking, in order to make this mold properly, gonna have to do a little bit of angles and a little bit of sort of building up a little bit of a wall, and making a little bit of a box for it. Because what we've got is a it's going to have to be a two-part mold. Basically, this outer area here is going to have to be one part, and the back will have to be another part with the actual urethane, her ear casting, which means there's going to be a little bit of seam line along the actual ridge of the ear. But the less of a seam line we can get, the better. The more obscured, more hidden it is, the better it will look. So I think what that means is we actually need to this needs to come out a little bit more. Not have a big thumbprint on it. The tools here seem to be the best ones to use for the process. Another way. Not undercut that too much. Also, don't want to. That's a little bit better. Again, try to smooth out some of the little ridges and finger lines. You want the ears overall to look fairly smooth, right? But only have the texture of whatever cloth or material. Just a moment here. That's a little bit better. In the groove. Get into the groove. Yeah, not going to go there. I can't believe how warm it is in Ontario for mid-October. Oh, I know, yeah. I mean, I was driving earlier today and I almost had to put the air conditioning on in the car. And I was kind of driving into the sun. The car was parked in the sun for a little bit too, so that didn't help. And started out with a jacket early this morning and had to very quickly get rid of the jacket because it was just too much. So yeah, we'll see if how warm this autumn stays and what that does for the winter. There have been some unseasonably warm winters in the past, but also we are having a beautiful fall. Yeah, so the term that they used to use that's kind of politically incorrect now, right? That sort of second summer. So yeah, what do we need to call it now? I mean, Indigenous Persons Summer. So here, we're going to do this again for a moment. I have to go into the sewing room and grab go into the sewing room and grab the there we go. Haha. Okay. So what I'll do is I'm going to go into the other room and get the cheesecloth for the. Oh, hang on a sec. 1 second. Oop. That's not what I wanted. I wanted this. Device settings. Get some volume going. That's a little bit better. Check 1, 2. All right. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to just pop into the other room and get some cheesecloth.
We have some. Thought we had some open cheesecloth here. However, I don't see any. Yeah, we used to have all kinds of open cheesecloth. All right, cheesecloth. We're creating a little bit of texture on the ears. So I'm going to come back over here now, and I'm going to turn that camera off. And there we go. Everyone can hear me? Cook's Cottons. Okay, and this is one big piece of cheesecloth, isn't it? So let's, not knowing where the where some of the other cheesecloth went, I'm sure it's in a little bin or a bucket somewhere. We're going to just cut a little bit off of this guy. And that can become our texture piece for adding a little bit of texture to the ears. And the rest of this can go back in the package, and it's so quite a big usable piece of cheesecloth. Alrighty. So this is kind of the tricky part. Applying just the right amount of pressure with the cheesecloth. And not to allow any edges to create just noticing here on the one here, after we do this angle, there's a little bit of the urethane casting sticking out in an area that's going to need some support. So build this up a little bit here, because there's a little bit more built up on the other ear too. So it's all sort of subjective. It is a beautiful fall. It's so nice to see the leaves changing color and everything. And of course, you got the days are getting shorter, so it's getting darker a little earlier now, which is kind of cool. Looking forward to Halloween. Yeah. We've got, I say, we've got Fan Expo coming up on the 22nd and 23rd are our panel dates, the Friday and the Saturday, and Christina will be there on Sunday as well, doing some, just basically schmoozing around and posing for photos and stuff like that in costume, as we are probably do. I won't be able to be there on Sunday, but I'll be there for Friday and Saturday for the panels in the evenings. So anyone who's going to Fan Expo here in Toronto, we look forward to seeing you. Come say hi. You'll find us in the panel schedule as Carhunger, of course. CARRHUNGER. Our panel Friday night is the Wings and Things panel. It's one we've been doing for years. We did it for years and years in BC and down in Seattle at Emerald City Comic Con. And so we're going to do that one here. And on Friday at 5:30 p.m. I think it's room 718. And then Saturday at 5:15 p.m. same room 718.
we are doing the production to cosplay, which is a look at film props, production props, you know, how they're done when there is, you know, huge amounts of money available to do it, and how you can recreate the you know, the look of these sort of things at home with limited budgets and limited materials. Where you can get some materials, what kind of stuff we use, and you know, glues and paints and stuff like that. So yeah, but the wings and things on Friday is predominantly about the fairy wings. So the Maleficent wings, um, the butterfly monarch wings, the Queen Maeve, the Irish fairy, um, all that sort of thing. How we did them, the mechanics involved, the techniques and materials involved, and yeah, just general discussion and. It seems to be a little bit of texture there. It's hard to tell sometimes, but we got to put this texture on obviously before we make the mold, or we're not going to be able to do the texture in the final silicone piece. As I mentioned before, silicone using silicone for prosthetic appliances is nowadays it's much more preferable than using latex, because a lot more people seem to be exhibiting allergies to latex, so it's harder to work with. Silicone tends to last a little bit longer too than the latex, because latex does break down over time. So you're limited as to how long you can use the prosthetics. But if we've got the molds, you get half a dozen uses out of a prosthetic, just mold another pair. We're hoping eventually to do a face casting. Actually, we both need face castings again, because the ones we had done were left behind in BC, which again ran out of room to bring everything back, and had to let a lot of stuff go. But the castings that we did have, we want to remake them so that we both have facial castings to do prosthetic appliances for our faces. I need to get my ears done like Christina did, and get into some more cosplay, because cosplay was really, that was our life. Even more so before BC, but we did a lot of it back in BC as well, and it's part of the art that drives us, part of the art that keeps us going. So I think that's good texture. See a little texture there. Trying to do texture without actually damaging the surface too. Or changing the shape of the ear by pushing it around. Yeah, tricky part is I'm debating whether to have to do a split in the back half of the mold as well, because of how much is here. I don't necessarily want to break this extra flange away, because it's just going to limit our options. At the same time, can we get that out? I guess when it's demolded, when it's pulled apart, the plasticine is going to come apart anyway, so it's going to take a lot of the extra overhang out of the top here. Again, like was mentioned, is the ears are one of the most complicated parts to mold, because there's so many little undercuts and furrows and ridges. Yeah, those look a lot more alike now. Okay. You know, when you finish something and then you look at it again, it's like, oh, I missed that spot. I missed that spot. Always ends up happening, right? So let me put those guys there for a moment. Now, for the material, we need to figure out. I know what material I want to use, and it's just going to be a matter of how are we going to manufacture the mold in order to make this. So, oh, that's right. That's what I was going to check. Yes. So here we have. I think that didn't work out quite well for me. This is one of the materials that we picked up. We were going to originally use it for the fairy crowns, but it's just to give a bit more flexibility, but it's just a little too flexible. However, being a urethane, it might actually be the best thing. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. Hang on one sec here. Hey, partner. Advice. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Four layers would be about 1/8 of an inch overall thickness. Luckily, the outer two layers are um, just the spines, so that's not so bad. Interesting, I guess. Oh, well, because the other location, or it's in the same building, I thought was the films. And she was talking about she had 015 and 020 available, actually down as far as 005. Right. Okay. So yeah, let's go with the 030. So right. All right. And then we paint the spine on the other side, or the look is right. Yeah. Right. That's true. Yeah. That's my concern as well. Yeah. So yeah, we could do 3. I did some tests with some Petchi and Lexan. They won't glue together with the resin bond. Petchi, you're supposed to be able to glue with that with the Gorilla Glue. You know, the adhesive you have to spray a little bit of water. But I tried it and it didn't work. It didn't hold. Mm-hmm. Hmm. They've never tried. Yeah, I did some research and some tests on gluing the Petchi. Couldn't find a glue that really held it securely. Still on air. Yeah. Christina says, "Hi, everyone." Hi, everybody. I have you on my earpiece, so I'm not on the speakerphone yet. Um, yeah. So without the additional, yeah, it would certainly save us a lot of materials. From the Monarch wing, the Lexan is a 3 yeah. Yeah. And I think the Mave, the Patchy that we used for Mave was 030 as well. So yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. It's okay. I think they said they had 040. Uh-huh. Yeah, that sounds about right. 06. Was it? Hang on. Yeah, was that measuring both layers or? Oh, okay. ABS and Lexan will stick to each other with Besenbach, yeah, because they're both. Depends on how thin. Okay, I'll go back to our wonderful audience here. All right. Okay. Christina says hi again. To you, but not to them. Okay. Talk to you soon. All right, folks. So yeah, Christina is out at a local plastics wholesaler to get some more materials to make more of the fairy wings out of. So just trying to deliberate with the options of what thicknesses are available and cost of materials and all that sort of thing. So it's always fun. It's something that she and I never really had to do much. Working for other shops, there was always an estimator in the shop that provided, created the quotes for the clients. And then basically we were given the drawings, and it's like, here's the drawings, these are the materials you're gonna use, go for it. So it's definitely a new mindset, new bit of programming to start thinking about, okay, how much is this going to cost us to build, and how much is our time worth, and how much is everything else, the use of materials, use of machinery, depreciation on stuff. So getting the hang of that actually. So it's getting there. I was just going to pull some material from the closet here. Which one is it? This that as well. So this is the one that we want to use. again, Smooth On, awesome product line. They have so many different materials, urethanes and silicones and pigments and casting powders and like you name it, they've got it. They have like distributors in various major cities. So we got one here in Toronto called Sculpture Supply Canada, and this particular one here, the Simpact 85. The number denotes the durability of it, the flexibility of it, and so the 85 is that this little crown that I was showing you guys before Christina called. So it was too flexible to use for the crowns, so we ended up using a rigid urethane and just wrapping them around the form while they were still curing, so that they would retain the shape. But this guy would be just a little too flexy. I mean, it might work for certain applications, but once you start loading it down with flowers or butterflies or that sort of thing, it's going to start warping, and some of the little points to want to stick out if they're not supported. But this should be the perfect material to make the mold for the ears. And being a urethane, again, like I said, the silicone won't stick to it. So this is the same material here, this Impact 85. And we will just pull this down off the table because it takes up a lot of room. Trying to remember the ratio. This comes in big buckets. Okay, this is one of the ones that Christina doesn't like because it's by weight. 85A to 100B by weight. Pot life is 4 minutes, so pretty quick. Handling time is 2 hours. So we'll be able to get 1/2 of these molds done, even hopefully. I've got another maybe 45 minutes to go here on the broadcast. So depending on how long it takes, how much time it takes to actually make the mold box, to figure out what's the best option to do the mold. So we got anyone else out there today? Say hi. Say how you're doing on this lovely, beautiful autumn afternoon in, I'm assuming, many places in North America. And we just had our Canadian Thanksgiving this past weekend, which was pretty awesome. Had a great turkey dinner and with mashed potatoes and all the fixings, as they say. And makes for lots of turkey leftovers too. Even though it was eight people at the dinner table, there was still a lot of turkey left over. Okay, so my concern with molding this is being able to get this at a level, because this material is actually it's liquid, right? So it's going to want to sit level, no matter what, which means I got to kind of prop this thing up in a way that that it's not going to extra flow into areas where we don't want it to. I'm going to smooth out that one area. It needs a little bit of cheesecloth again. And again, as mentioned, the cheesecloth just sort of adds a little bit of texture so that the surface of the final prosthetic isn't smooth and waxy looking. It gives it a more, skin, even the smoothest parts of somebody's skin are slightly porous or have a slight bit of texture to them. So. Just keep checking over for comments. See how things are going. think one thing I could do if I prop it up like this, basically so that the outside of the ear is roughly horizontal, I can build up a little bit of a plasticine dam here so that any of the urethane doesn't flow into the inner ear, because we want that inner ear to be part of the top half of the mold. So that's probably our best bet right there. And then, yeah, just sort of build up a little bit of a sloped wall or something to support that on. And yeah, always the fun part of molding very complex shapes and being able to disassemble them again. So I'm thinking, first thing, get these onto a bit of a plate or a block. That I got to make two separate molds too, because we don't want to have to complicate things by having both ears on one mold and having it a little too difficult to separate. Spot there, a bit of a crease. That's better. Next thing you need is like fingernail marks in your ears. Yeah. Okay, so in order to make the mold boxes, I'm just going to use good old-fashioned corrugated cardboard. And I've got a piece just in another room. This time I'm just going to quickly pop out there in the other room and grab it and come back.
I lied. Actually, I think I lied to myself. I don't have that piece in the other room. It got moved downstairs where all the other cardboard is being kept. So I can take you guys on a little bit of a walk again. How's everyone? Can you hear me good? All right, so I'm going to mute that mic and add this as a second. All righty. Okay, let's go for a little bit of a walk down to the laundry room / shipping room and grab ourselves a nice piece of cardboard to make those mold boxes out of. So what we'll have to do once we pour the first half and it cures, it's going to take a couple of hours to cure, so we won't be able to see the final product on this broadcast, unfortunately. But once we pour that and let it cure, then we have to put a lot of mold release on it in order to pour the top half of the mold and be able to separate it. There's the ones I was looking for. That should be enough material to make the box out of. Alrighty. Come back here. Looks like I tried to disconnect there for a second. Okay, and we're back. There we go. All right. Back to full screen. Back to the workspace. So what we want to do, we can make a single base for the mold. Yeah, this one's flatter. So let's make our base out of this. So each mold is going to have to be about 4.5 by
3 inches. Yeah. One thing we always do, helpful when making molds, is take some packing tape, and we packing tape the actual cardboard, because a lot of the molding, chemicals and stuff will actually soak into the cardboard, and then you can't pull them apart very easily. So if we put packing tape down, then the material won't stick to the cardboard, right? It's packing tape. It's nice smooth surface. Most urethanes and silicones won't actually stick to the packing tape. So a few rows of packing tape down just to be able to get enough material. And we quite often we take the pieces together to make the mold, and quite often do the hot glue thing as well. Hot glue it all together. So we want this mold to be sealed as well, to be essentially watertight, or at least water resistant. Luckily, the stuff cures pretty fast, so if there's a bit of a leak, it's not going to have a lot of time to leak before it actually hardens. So that'll be a bit of a benefit. But the more we can seal the mold, then at least not wasting material and letting it leak out all over the place. Maybe one more. Should be enough. Covered cardboard. And the other ways to make mold boxes, you can make them out of plywood, you can make them out of sheet plastic, rigid plastics, and stuff like that. So whatever you happen to have on hand, for the most part. You don't want to break the bank on making mold either. So what did we say? 4.5 by 3. Tray later. Okay, and just for the sake of having a little bit of a base to work on, let's make the bases 5 by 3.5. It gives us an extra ½ an inch to be able to lay our walls down on top. So let's go with the 3.5 in this direction first. And a benefit of doing it this way as well, how straight is that edge? There, our long ruler. That's a straight edge, okay. Benefit of doing it this way. As we have our 3.5 becomes our base and our one wall. And then the other walls will be the 4 inch, or sorry, the 4.5 inch, right? So that's 3.5. We want 5, one base, 10, another base, 5, 10. Some people will also use plastic cups to make the molds out of. Really, all depends on the part and how you want to have that part recreated. So our overall height, you want to figure out what the height of the mold's going to be. So it's going to sit like this, and let's make the box about 2 inches deep. That's more than we need, but we don't have to pour it all the way. But it means that when this is poured, it will be it'll have at least a little bit of structural material on top of the ear. Okay. So we have 4 3.5 inch walls, 2 and 4. Make those 2 inches high. 2, 4, 6, 8. We appreciate. And I'm going to cheat a little because this cardboard is cut fairly square. I'm going to use the visible lines of the corrugation as a reference point, just to follow parallel to them to make our walls. I mean, it doesn't have to be engineering tolerances here. What do we have left? Oh, we have 4 inches left. If we had an extra ½ inch, we could have gotten. Actually, we couldn't have even gotten that because we would have been able to get 1 there. So next thing we'll do is, so we have 4.5 is what we needed. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We can get 4 across. So we make our next line here 2 inches. 2 inches is the height of that mold. Line across. Use this guy. 4.5, 9, 13.5, 18. 18 actually lines up with the other line. Makes sense. It's even number mathematics. So there we go. Our little cutting board. So I don't want to cut on top of the other cardboard because I don't want the cardboard to get damaged. So our little cutting board is just behind the camera at the moment. These little self-healing cutting mats are really handy. Okay, I'm gonna move the ears just over off the side a little bit so they're not they don't risk being damaged. It's the last thing we need is we're already mold's ready to go and one of the ears gets crushed, so we have to start again. not a good thing to encounter, right? Okay, long ruler. The cutting mat's not as long as the yeah, didn't quite cut through. You gotta do the dull blades. Maybe I'll snap this blade off. Let's do a fresh one. Yeah, the tip of this blade's a little bit worn out. So, snap. Pop off the old blade. We have a sharps disposal. Is there one over here? No, but there's one over on the other bench. So we have basically get an old coffee tin, cut a slot in the lid, and use that as a disposal for blades and pins and needles and anything like that. And, if they're worn out or damaged, you don't want to just throw that in the garbage bag. Even too, when there's in projects, sometimes there's a call for using a syringe to apply glue or around and accidentally get poked by one and it's got some kind of toxic chemical still in it. Never a fun thing. Hang on, just 1 sec. I think I just got a message came in. So there we go. This is our. That last one ended up being that last one ended up being 4 inches. So shorter ruler. That piece we don't need. One. Two. Two. Okay. Two. Three and four. These are our long walls. One bottom. Two bottom. Come on. One. Two. Three. Four short walls. A couple of pieces left over. Since they've already got packing tape on them, we can hold on to them. They may be useful for a future mold. All right. Let's get the glue gun plugged in. And do that. See, one glue stick. Grab a few more. Once again, everything's been labeled. So we have bins, we know exactly what's in each bin. As long as they always get put back in the same spot, then we're good. Just got a few extra glue sticks here. Actually, I see a couple of types here. I pulled these guys aside. We had an interesting mishap with glue sticks a little while back. It's about 5 years ago, I guess, when we did the Lapis wings. We bought these glue sticks at the dollar store. Seems to be, nothing unusual about them. Just, standard run-of-the-mill glue sticks. Well, it turns out in sunlight, they glow purple. We didn't notice this. We had a few areas where there was hot glue, maybe just a little bit visible between a couple of feathers or just on the edge of a feather. And in normal circumstances, you wouldn't notice that on the costume or on the wings. But in the sunlight, you got suddenly these purple things showing up. So that was a little bit disconcerting. We noticed this as we were walking from the hotel to the convention the very first day that we were debuting the wings. So we had never actually had them outdoors before that point. It had always been either working in the shop space or in the living room or wherever. And it was a bit of a surprise. We're like, oh no, what have we done? But alas, it is what it is. So yeah, and basically, I think what we'll do is I'm going to build 3 walls up, and then get the part in there and try and get it sort of boosted up on either on a bit of plasticine or try and build a bit of a cardboard wall or something for it. Plasticine might be the better option because then at least there's a solid volume underneath it that's not going to, the resin isn't going to fill that volume because it'll already be taken up with plasticine. And that way we can get the ear sort of tilted to just the right level to be able to pour the urethane, the Simpact 85. And it's a matter of we need to do a fair bit of mold release, so either a little bit of Vaseline or we have a mold release, a brush-on one that we can use. Vaseline probably would be the best thing to use over top of the urethane part of the mold. On the plasticine, we might not need anything at all because it's not really going to stick. And plasticine's already got kind of a greasy property to it. So, but maybe just a quick little brush on of the mold release. Go over here. A little spray bottle might be better. Just have to be very careful with it spraying because we don't go all over the place as well. It's a slippery. It's what is it? PVA. polyvinyl acetate or something like that. So it's a very very slippery material. Once the glue gun heats up a little more, you're plugging it on. Yeah, I'm fully plugged in now. Give that a few more minutes. So I think what we'll end up doing, it is 4:41. As far as I know, Christina is on her way back now from the picking up the materials. So once she gets here, the broadcast we'll cut the broadcast at that point, and whatever I've gotten done up to that point will be the continuation on a future broadcast, or we'll finish the molds off camera and show you guys the final product. The goal is to have these ears be able to mold and do 3 or 4 pairs of ears ready for Fan Expo on the 22nd and 24th, so that she can use them for her characters. Because I think of the characters that cosplays that we're doing that weekend, I think there's only one that doesn't have pointed ears. So I don't know how we managed to get that to happen, but yeah, because she'll be dressed as Maleficent one day, Queen Maeve for another day, the Monarch Fairy, and the Elfin Ranger, and sort of a half day, change in midday kind of costume thing, and all 4 or 5 of those wear ears, and then doing the Doctor Who, we'll be doing our Doctor Who costumes as well. Unfortunately, I'll be able to be missing that one. But that'll be her Romana in the fur. So that's, I think, the only character she's doing all weekend that doesn't have pointed ears. So there we go. All the more reason to get these ears done and ready to rock and roll. Enough heat going on here. Yes, we do. So put the first wall down. Make sure that there's a good seal there. Because, again, even though the material will cure fast enough to not leak, still want to minimize the potential leakage, right? That's right. And of course, the next step, once the mold is built and the parts in place and mold released and everything, figuring out how much of the resin we need to mix up in order to do each component of the mold. Probably do each mold one at a time because it's only a 4-minute cure time. So by the time you've mixed it and you start pouring, be a little bit careful with the pour so you're not getting any air bubbles. And then it's pretty much going off. So there's only time to do that. Do one at a time. In a sec, Christina is calling. Hello. Still on air. Okay. Well. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Right. Oh no. So what do they require? You don't have that code. Okay. No, I can't. Yeah, really. It's like, hey, that's true. I can do that. Yeah. I'm actually just building a mold boxes for the ears. Yeah, I did actually. They're very, very close. Again, no symmetry in nature, but they're really, really close. Ah, yes. Okay. So that is what I will do then is, folks, I am going to sign off right now. Christina needs my help, and it's something that I can't do while I'm on air. So we will pick this up either in another broadcast tomorrow, or we'll work on them off air and show you guys more progress in a future broadcast. And yeah, by all means, everyone, check us out. Anyone who's been viewing not on Haps, come join us on Haps. And that's our profile is Car Hunger. That's CARRHUNGER. And don't forget about the Remember Me broadcast. If you look a few posts back, you'll see the notes as to who's contributed already. And the deadline is this Friday, the 15th. And check out all the information on that. Once again, thanks for joining us, folks. Hope everyone has a great afternoon, great evening, and get out and enjoy some weather.
We had a great time in Montreal. Montreal was all hardwood floors, right? Go on, camera. Okay.
I'd like to. That's my favorite thing. That's my
Fix a
favorite.
rock food.
No. Oh, look, cocktails.
How much styrofoam?
Way too much styrofoam. The birds are confused. Like, what's this city doing?